If there's one thing we can take away from Daryl's character in The Walking Dead, especially right now in Season 11, it's that he's extremely loyal to his family and the people back at Alexandria and Hilltop. We've seen that time and time again during the Savior's arc and the Reaper's arc. He's exceptionally good at playing both sides of the coin in favor of his family back home in order to protect them and keep them safe. His whole point during the Reaper's arc became infiltrating them, playing along with what they were doing, and then helping Maggie and the others in the downfall of the Reapers. And now that we're in the final arc of the series, the Commonwealth arc where Daryl is a soldier for the Commonwealth, we'll see his loyalty between the Commonwealth and his family be tested again. Especially after what just happened in episode 13, Warlords. And before we continue, this video will contain major spoilers for it. So I really do suggest you watch the episode before we dive into Daryl's betrayal for the Commonwealth and the supposed leaks confirming Rosita's death in the final episode. And for a quick message before we begin, make sure you subscribe for the Walking Dead news and theory videos. There's a lot of groundbreaking leaks coming out each day for the final episode, and I will be the first to report them, so make sure you don't miss out by subscribing. Now let's go over what we have. Season 11, Episode 13, Warlords was a shocking episode with lots of twists and turns. I really didn't expect this Carlson guy to be the man he was halfway into the episode. I mean, just look how he acts.
Answer the question. How dumb would I be to let you go?
But what this episode did perfectly was highlight the dark corners of the Commonwealth the average citizen doesn't know about. Not to mention, they're willing to wipe out an entire community, something Aaron and Gabriel did not expect nor want to be a part of. And that has now led them to being fugitives and being wanted by the Commonwealth. This is where the honeymoon phase of this arc has dissipated. We're now seeing the flaws and the dark doings that happen behind the scenes. What happened with Eugene in episode 11 wasn't even the surface of how evil and corrupt this community can be. Even the comic books didn't go to these lengths of showing it, we just pretty much knew. The most important thing to take away from episode 13, though, is the fact Aaron and Gabriel are wanted by the Commonwealth and by Carlson. One of the soldiers even shot at Aaron, and so did Carlson, but his gun was empty. Aaron has also killed one of the soldiers, so there are going to be consequences for that. If Carlson reports this back to Lance, who knows what will happen at Alexandria and for its people. This is what brings me to Daryl. Daryl is one of their soldiers, and if the military receives direct orders from someone higher than Carlson like Mercer to enact on Alexandria or Aaron, do you really think Daryl would go along with it? Well, the answer to that is simply no. In the trailer for part 2 of season 11, there's this scene here of Aaron with a soldier's rifle in some sort of yard. We can see school buses and other vehicles in the background. There's also this scene of Daryl fighting a soldier as well. He's hitting the soldier with the butt of the rifle, and as you can see, the soldier's already beat up, missing parts of his helmet and covered in blood. I'm not entirely sure if this happens in episode 14, it could be 15, but it's undoubtedly leading up to a big mid-season finale for episode 16. This does mean that Daryl is going to betray the Commonwealth and its military in favor of his family. I first thought that this was maybe a soldier in the resistance of the Commonwealth, but with how Aaron and Gabriel are now on the run, I think it's pretty obvious that Daryl is going to be helping them, especially if he finds out what Carlson and his soldiers did. They're practically committing genocide on this community, getting ready to kill all of them if they can't find their weapons. The Commonwealth from here on out are going to be the bad guys, the big threat to some members of our group. Daryl is certainly not going to put up with what the military has been doing, and neither will others like Aaron, Gabriel, Negan, and Maggie. I think this scene here of Maggie and Herschel is in direct relation to Daryl's killing of some of the soldiers and Aaron being on the run. I imagine the military would search Alexandria for him, but after not finding him, Gabe, nor Daryl, they'll turn to Hilltop to look for them, where Maggie will put up a stance. This will also make Daryl an enemy of the Commonwealth and potentially Hilltop if Maggie doesn't give up their locations. I used to think part 3 of season 11 would lean into the CRM sides of things to set up the Rick movies, but now I really think it's going to be a massive conflict between the Commonwealth and the communities. I think this will lead to an adaptation of what we've seen in the comics, with some Commonwealth citizens rioting and resisting the ways of Pamela Milton, something that happened towards the end of the series. It seems likely that this event with Carlson is kicking all of that off. Some members of our group like Yumiko would be loyal to the Commonwealth and want to stay, while Daryl and Maggie would fight against it. I could also see Lance Hornsby siding with the communities and not the Commonwealth because he has big plans for Alexandria and wants to see them through, evidently. And by his shady actions and just weird personality, he seems likely to turn against Pamela in her ways as well. It's almost like he has slowly become more on edge with her. Mercer's another possibility for someone to turn on the Commonwealth. It's almost like he's been cracking over the last couple episodes, but I don't think we'll see that just yet. These next few episodes leading up to and including 16 will set up the big conflict for the final part of the season, and it's going to be massive. If my theory and predictions for this actually turn out to be true, it will be the biggest enemy the communities have ever faced, and it will take its toll. That doesn't mean we'll be seeing any major deaths though, because from some behind the scenes leaked photos, almost, if not everyone of the main group actually survives. But since the show is filmed on open streets, a lot of fans are snapping photos and videos of the set and the actors filming. Before I continue and give away a massive spoiler leak for the very final episode of the show, if you don't want to hear it, I really suggest not continuing with this video. If you don't mind though, well, it seems Rosita has made it to the end, only to be bitten. My source is TWD Universe Spoilers on Facebook, and I'll be sure to leave a link to their page in the description so you can check them out and the leaked photos they share. Anyway, being translated, the leak says this: Eugene, Father Gabriel, and Rosita are stuck in an alley by walkers. Rosita is surrounded, still holding Coco, but runs away. It's revealed she was bitten and will die. We also have a photo here of Gabriel and Eugene in a building's window as Eugene is reaching his hand downwards towards the street, possibly trying to grab Coco or Rosita. Now, it isn't confirmed that she is going to die. This is a rumor with some leaked photos to back it up. People close to the set have said they heard screaming and Eugene calling her name, but no one actually witnessed the bite. Rosita could very much survive, and I'll explain how, but based off of this photo and the rumor to go with it, it makes sense. They're obviously filming in the Commonwealth with some sort of breach of walkers coming in and filling the streets, so people are going to die. My only issue is that this death is just one that doesn't make a lot of sense, and because of that, this rumor could in fact be fake. I'm not saying the leaked photos are, because they're clearly real, just the rumor of Rosita's death though. The final issue of the comics ended on a happy note. There were no deaths, walkers were rarely, if ever, even seen, and the world was on track to being fully rebuilt. This of course happened over the course of 25 years though, and it seems like the show won't go the road of a time jump. Looking at the second last issue, it marked a massive character death to end the series off. That death was the death of Rick Grimes, the one who started it all and the one who ended it. It was obviously a very impactful death and meant a lot to the society of the Commonwealth and other communities. A theory I have about this death being fake is that the scene itself was actually filmed, but it's a cop-out. I'll explain. When the lineup scene was filmed for Season 7, Episode 1, a death for most characters was actually filmed so leaks wouldn't get out. Some of the alternate clips are available online in full as well, such as Maggie's death. But the scenes were fake ones. Sure, they were filmed, but some were destined to never be seen. With the final episode of a show as big as The Walking Dead, you would imagine things would be kept under wrap to ensure no big leaks got out. It is the final ever episode after all. Filming a character's death in the wide open on a street with fans watching is just too reckless. This leads me to believe that it is a cop-out to avoid spoilers or to throw fans off with what to expect and someone else dies instead. I mean, let's be real, Rosita has been a side character ever since Season 9, and giving her such an anticlimactic death as a walker bite for the final episode just makes no sense. The more I think about it, the more I think it's a ploy. Angela Kang even said that the script for the final episode was rewritten 3 times and it was just given to the cast the night before filming. So, I think there's more going on here. The more I think about it, the more I think it makes sense that it's a fake death, especially with the rumors going around that the Maggie and Negan show is a fake cover-up to cover up one of their deaths. But if this is all true and I'm just being too hopeful for Rosita in the ending, the final episode really doesn't sound all that good when you compare it to the comics ending. It's kind of a letdown. Obviously, with the universe and some of its characters continuing on, it's strange to have walkers flooding the Commonwealth, Rosita die, yet people like Magna's group, everyone there is going to survive. Leaked photos have come out of Yumiko, Magna, Connie, and Kelly sitting around the fountain where the final scene takes place, and it's just so weird they would all make it, but not Rosita. They've been more of throwaway characters than Rosita has been, so I really just don't get it. I've always thought the final episode should be an optimistic one with some remnants of everything that has led up to it, along with a Rick Grimes tease while having a climactic ending in episode 23. That way it would leave the final episode to be more peaceful like the comics. That is going to be it for today's video though. Feel free to leave your comments below on whether or not you think Daryl will betray the Commonwealth, who will be on his side, and if you think Rosita will die, or if it's just a fake out. Who knows, maybe Angela King will decide to read your comments and change the ending to be better. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe for much more. I'm working on a video talking about Rick Grimes' brother, Jeffrey Grimes, along with some video essays on Ghostbusters, Home Alone, Spider-Man, and the Batman. If those sound interesting, make sure you stick around with post notifications on. Until next time, that will be all. Thanks everyone for watching, stay safe, and have a great day.